I will go to this actual topic, I will repeat the definition of enzymes because then you will be able to differentiate between enzyme and isoenzymes. As you know, enzymes are biological catalysts. They work in a living environment. Almost all enzymes are protein in nature except a class of enzyme which is called as ribozymes. Enzymes show specificity for their substrate. Substrate are the molecule on which the enzyme act. And there are two important characteristics regarding the enzyme as catalyst, that enzyme remains unchanged at the end of a chemical reaction. And number two, the enzyme does not alter the equilibrium constant of the reaction. Now, Dr. Jamil must have been told you the definition of equilibrium constant. Now, how enzyme increases the rate of a chemical reaction? It increases the rate of a chemical reaction by decreasing the energy of activation. And as far as you know, energy of activation is the minimum amount of the energy which the reacting species must possess to undergo a specified reaction. While going through this topic, you must be familiar with some of the terminologies. A monomer is a molecule that forms the basic unit for a polymer. And when monomeric proteins, what are monomeric proteins? They are proteins with a single polypeptide chain. Monomeric proteins, when they combine, they form multi-protein complexes. So monomeric proteins, they are made up of single polypeptide chain, and multiple monomeric proteins, when they combine, they form multi-protein complexes. An oligomeric protein are composed of more than one polypeptide chain. An individual polypeptide chain in an oligomeric protein is called subunits. As far as this most proteins are concerned, they have a primary structure, that is the number and sequence of amino acid. Then they have the secondary structure, that is the alpha helices and beta plated sheets. Or they have a tertiary structure, which is the three-dimensional conformation of a protein. Oligomers, they always have an additional level that is called the quaternary structure. As we have just discussed, the oligomeric proteins, that oligomeric proteins are made up of more than one polypeptide chain. So isoenzymes are multi-enzyme complexes. I must clear this, that multi-enzyme complexes means they are made up of more than one polypeptide chain, and they may catalyze more than one type of reaction. And isoenzyme, usually they increases the efficiency of the metabolic pathways. Usually isoenzymes are the regulatory enzymes. Now, or we can define isoenzyme that they are the alternative forms of the same enzyme activity. Means the enzyme activity is same, and that enzyme activity is present in different proportions in different tissues. So I will further clear this different proportions in different tissues as we go, as we proceed. I will give you clear it with the examples. Here we will discuss the characteristics of the isozymes or isoenzymes. As I told you earlier, they catalyze the same type of reaction, but they differ in chemical structures. And when their chemical structure is different, then their kinetic properties are also different from each other. And as I told you, they are usually organ specific. They are being found in different tissues. And the most important thing regarding these isoenzymes is that most of the time they are being used for diagnostic purposes. Now, when we say we use the enzyme for diagnostic purposes, then we are only capable of estimating those enzymes which are present in the serum. So most enzymes present in the plasma or in the serum are released during normal cell turnover. Why isoenzymes are structurally or chemically different from each other? Because they are genetic variant of an enzyme. When we say genetic variant, it means the gene which code for these isoenzymes is different. So when gene for isoenzymes is different, there is some difference in their genetic code. So these isoenzymes are genetically independent proteins with little structural similarity. Because the gene is different, so their structure will be different, and every isoenzyme is independent. Or we can say they are heteropolymers. Hetero means when they are combined, or they are made up of different type of polypeptide chains. Polymers means when they are present in number more than 2. Okay, so they are heteropolymers of 2 or more non-covalently bound polypeptide chains. If you recall, we just discussed oligomers. Oligomers are proteins which are made up of more than 2 or 2 or more than 2 polypeptide chains. So here they are hetero, like if you recall heteropolysaccharides. They are polymers of different type of sugars, sugar acids. So similar is the case here, that the polypeptide chains, they are different in structure because they have the different genes, and they are unrelated because of the structural difference, because they are heteropolymers, so they are unrelated enzymes. The only thing which is common in these isoenzymes is that they catalyze the same type of reactions. And or in some cases they are structurally same, but you know that a holoenzyme is that enzyme which require coenzyme and cofactor for its enzymatic activity. So they differ in their requirement of their prosthetic group or coenzymes. Now what is a coenzyme? Coenzyme is a water soluble, mostly they are water soluble molecules, and they are involved in the transfer of functional group, or they are involved in the transfer of reducing equivalent. And usually the prosthetic groups are coenzyme which are covalently attached to an enzyme. As far as the cofactors are concerned, they are usually minerals or metal lines like copper, iron, zinc, and we have just discussed metabolism of these minerals in the previous module. So, or in some cases, they are made up of the same polypeptide chain. Now here I will must repeat that, as I told you in the beginning, that enzymes are protein nature, but they may also have some additional carbohydrates in their structure. So they may be glycoprotein nature also. So they are made up of single polypeptide chain, but where they differ from each other, they differ from each other in their carbohydrate composition. Or it is possible that the amino acid which are making this polypeptide chain, they have undergone, some of the amino acid have undergone deamination or proteolytic modification. Now this is another definition of isoenzymes. Isoenzymes, they are enzymes that differ in amino acid sequence, but they catalyze the same chemical reaction, and they have similar catalytic activity, but they are different biochemically and immunologically. Now different forms, they may be differentiated from each other on the basis of their certain physical properties. Number one is that how they move on electrophoretic field, and number two, that their absorption properties are different from each other, or in some reactions they react with different antibodies. So this is another definition of isoenzyme. While going through various definitions from different authentic books, ultimately I have concluded that isozymes or isoenzymes are multiple forms of the same enzyme, and they catalyze the same chemical reaction. They are different in their chemical and physical properties. They move differently on electrophoretic field. Their kinetic properties are different. They differ from each other in their amino acid sequence, as well as they differ from each other in amino acid composition. So this is the complete definition of isoenzymes. The only thing is common is that they catalyze the same type of reaction. Otherwise, they are chemically, physically different. Their kinetic properties are different. Their Km and Vmax values are different. their primary sequence of amino acid and composition is different. Now, if you recall, while discussing the properties of the isoenzymes, one of the factors which we said that they are used for diagnosis of various disorders or diseases. So, for diagnostic purposes, we obtain blood sample. Either we estimate these enzymes in blood, plasma, or serum, and you are very well aware of the difference of these three. Now, here you must know what is a functional plasma enzyme and what is a non-functional plasma enzyme. The first thing regarding the functional plasma enzyme means those enzymes which are present in the blood or the plasma normally. These enzymes, they are synthesized by liver. Whereas non-functional plasma enzymes, they are synthesized by various tissues or organs, and they are released in the plasma when that cell or tissue undergo apoptosis, that is the normal cell turnover. Now these plasma enzymes, they have a specific function in the blood or the plasma, but these non-functional enzymes which are released from different cells or tissues at various times into the plasma, they have no function as such in the plasma. Now, as we say that plasma enzymes are functional, it means they must have substrate in the blood. But the non-functional plasma enzyme, they don't have any substrate. They are only released at various times while the cell is undergoing apoptosis. Now, the functional plasma enzyme level is higher than the non-functional plasma enzymes. The non-functional plasma enzyme in normal circumstances, in normal when the person is disease free, they are very low in concentration. But their concentration may increase if a tissue or organ undergo damage, like in case of myocardial infarction. The heart muscles are undergoing ischemia, there is necrosis, and there is a leakage of enzyme from inside the cell into the plasma. So in that situation, in disease processes or when the number of cells are being, destruction of the number of cells is more, then these levels of non-functional enzyme will increase in the plasma. And as I told you, examples are myocardial infarction in case of hepatitis or when a patient is suffering from any cancerous condition. As far as the examples of the functional plasma enzyme is concerned, enzymes of the blood coagulation and fibrinolysis, and the most important one is lipoprotein lipase. Lipoprotein lipase is a normal plasma enzyme. It is present on the endothelial lining of the blood vessel, and it acts on the TAG, the dietary TAG, or the TAG which has been synthesized, triacylglycerol, which are synthesized in the liver. For transportation purpose, it acts on them and it converts them into free fatty acids and the glycerol. The non-functional plasma enzymes are lactate dehydrogenase, creatine kinase, transaminases, alkaline phosphatases. So we will discuss these non-functional plasma enzymes one by one, and in what situations their concentration is increased in the blood, we will discuss later on. Now, these are the examples of few isoenzymes which are commonly found in the plasma, that is lactate dehydrogenase, not only the plasma but in tissues, that is lactate dehydrogenase, alkaline phosphatase, creatine phosphokinase or creatine kinase. The same enzyme, either we call them CPK, creatine phosphokinase or creatine kinase. And you are very well aware that kinases are the class of enzyme. They belong to the class of transferases and they transfer phosphate to the substrate. Acid phosphatase, amylase, cholinesterase, hexokinase. Nearly 100 enzymes have been detected so far which exist as isoenzymes. Now, if you recall, while we were discussing the definition of isoenzymes, I said that isoenzymes are present in different proportions in different tissues. Now we have just seen the list of few isoenzymes in the previous slide, and among them we had acid phosphatase. So acid phosphatase is an has various isoenzyme forms, Mainly its higher concentration is present in prostate, but it is also been found in the RBCs, platelets, liver, spleen, kidney, and bone marrow. So here that part of the definition is completely fit on this, that they are present in different proportions in different tissues. Similar is the case with the alkaline phosphatase. Mainly alkaline phosphatase is present in the bone and liver, and it is being used for diagnostic purposes for these two tissues and organs. Beside that, it is also present in the plasma, intestine, and the kidney. Amyl is one of the enzymes which act on carbohydrates, and it is present in the saliva, in the and pancreatic secretions. As far as the hexokinase is concerned, hexokinase means the enzyme which act on 6 carbon sugar, which hexokinases can act on fructose, glucose, galactose, and mannose. So hexokinase is present in every cell and tissue, but its uh, uh, specific a kinase which has a specific for substrate, that is glucokinase, is only present in the liver and muscles. Now we will discuss few of the isoenzymes individually, and one of these isoenzymes is lactate dehydrogenase. Lactate dehydrogenase, as the name suggests, dehydrogenases are the enzymes which belong to the class of oxidoreductases, means they have a role in oxidation reduction reaction. Now we'll see that this dehydrogenase, the substrate is lactate or lactic acid. The coenzyme form is oxidized NAD. And what happens? Lactate dehydrogenase causes oxidation of lactic acid, which then convert into pyruvic acid, and NAD is reduced to NADH. So lactate is oxidized to pyruvic acid and NAD is reduced to NADH. So this is a reaction which is catalyzed by the lactate dehydrogenase. Now, as far as the lactate dehydrogenase is concerned, it is comprised of the two different types of polypeptide chain. One is called H, which stands for heart, and another type of polypeptide chain is M, that is stands for muscle. So it is comprised of dimer of two different subunits, H and M. Dimer means made up of two units. So two different polypeptide chains, H and M. H for heart, M stands for muscles. Now these dimers or two different subunits, they exist in 5 different combinations. If you see lactate dehydrogenase 1 is comprised of all 4 H type of subunits, and mainly this lactate dehydrogenase 1 all uh, H type of subunits, and mainly it is present in the heart and the kidneys. Then lactate dehydrogenase 2 is comprised of 3 H and 1 M subunit. You can see the color purple and the blue. So lactate dehydrogenase 2 is comprised of 3 H and 1 M subunit. Lactate dehydrogenase 3, it is mainly comprised of 2 H and 2 M subunits, and this lactate dehydrogenase 3 is mainly present in the brain, lung, and WBCs. Then lactate dehydrogenase 4 has 1 H and 3 M subunits. And finally, if we see the lactate dehydrogenase 5 is comprised almost completely that of the M type, that is the muscle. So it is mainly present in the skeletal muscles and the liver. So different combinations of subunits of the lactate dehydrogenase isoenzymes, and you can see that these enzymes are present in 5 different combinations and in different tissues. So their distribution is different in different tissues, and they have different catalytic they present in the different proportion in various tissues. Now, if you recall, we have differentiated these isoenzymes on their different physical and chemical characteristics, and these characteristics were their mobility on the electrophoretic field, how they and their immunologically they react with different antibodies and with their different absorption properties. So this slide shows you The pattern of this analysis, electrophoretic analysis of the lactate dehydrogenase isoenzymes on gel. A shows you the normal serum pattern when a patient is normal, healthy, and does not suffering from any disorder. Now, if you recall, lactate dehydrogenase 1 and 2 are present in the heart. And you can see those patients who are suffering from acute myocardial infarction. Myocardial infarction is a disorder where there is a ischemia. The blood supply to the certain areas of the heart is being blocked, and that particular area undergo necrosis. When that particular heart cells they undergo necrosis, uh, intracellular enzyme leak into the plasma, and you can see the broadening of the lactate dehydrogenase 1 and 2 on the electrophoretic analysis in case of myocardial infarction. Then if you recall, lactate dehydrogenase 5 is mainly present in the skeletal muscles and liver. So in case of acute hepatitis, what we can see that the broad band which is being shown in this picture is of lactate dehydrogenase 5. So on electrophoretic analysis, we can diagnose various disorders if we are very well familiar of the isoenzyme forms of that particular enzyme. This is the graphic presentation of the previous slide. In the previous slide, we have seen the broadening of the bands. Here we can see the graphic presentation of various isoenzyme forms of lactate dehydrogenase. A shows in the normal individual, and we can see that only there is a spike of LDH2 in normal individual. But when we go for patients suffering from the acute myocardial infarction, we can see spikes in lactate dehydrogenase 1 and lactate dehydrogenase 2. And similar is the case that we are very much familiar that lactate dehydrogenase 5 is present in the skeletal muscles and the liver. So those patients who are suffering from acute hepatitis. Now here the word is used acute. Acute means when a patient is been suffering from a disease of a short duration. So you can see there's a spike of the lactate dehydrogenase 5 in case of acute hepatitis. Here we will discuss another isoenzyme, that is creatine kinase or creatine phosphokinase. Now this slide is showing you that the substrate for this enzyme is creatine, and this creatine mostly present in the skeletal muscles, in the liver, and the second substrate is ATP. As I have discussed earlier, that kinases is the class of transferases which transfer phosphate group from ATP to the substrate. So this creatine kinase convert creatine into phosphocreatine, and the ATP is converted into ADP. This phosphocreatine is another storage form of energy in muscles, especially in skeletal muscles and cardiac muscles, and it is beside glycogen, which is a stored energy. This creatine phosphate or phosphocreatine is also a stored form of energy in. This is creatine phosphokinase. We have just gone through the reaction which is catalyzed by this enzyme. This is creatine phosphokinase. We have just gone through the reaction which is catalyzed by this enzyme. Now this creatine phosphokinase enzyme is comprised of two subunits. One is B, that is stands for brain, and second subunit is called M, which stands for muscles. Now these two subunits, they exist in three different combinations: BB, which is present in the brain, CKMB, which is present in the heart, and MM, which is present in the skeletal muscles. Now this CKBB is also called as CK1 because it moves very fast on the electrophoretic field, and it is normally present in serum in 1% concentration, whereas in normal circumstances only 5% of the CK2 is present in the serum. And CK3, which is a very slow moving, which is present in the skeletal muscles, is mainly present, 80% of this present in the serum. This picture is also showing you the movement of these various isoenzymes of the creatine phosphokinase on electrophoretic field. And since they are negatively charged. These Kitian phosphokinase, they are highly negatively charged. They move towards the positively charged nodes, and you can see that CK1 is fast moving. Then we can see CKMB, and the third is the CKMM. So this slide is showing you the movement of various isoenzyme forms of Kitian kinase on electrophoretic field. Now, interpretation of the CK1: if the levels of CK1 is present in higher concentration in the blood, then one can suspect adenocarcinoma of the GIT tract, carcinoma of lung, and carcinomas of various organs and tissues like prostate, bladder, testes, kidney, breast, ovaries, uterus. So as we have, and the levels of CK2 is CKMB, and mainly it is present in the heart. So its significance lies in the diagnosis of acute myocardial infarction. So high levels of CK2 are present in the first 6 hours of the acute myocardial infarction in the blood, and it is indicated of the myocardial infarction. Beside this myocardial infarction, the levels may be high in head injuries, in subarachnoid hemorrhages, and CK3, which is mainly present in the skeletal muscles. So levels of CK3, if they are raised, one can suspect damage to the muscle or disease related to the muscle. So mainly the muscular dystrophies, myopathies, and in case of hypothyroidism, the levels may increase fivefold than that of the normal. High levels of the CK3, they are indicative of mainly muscular disorders like muscular dystrophies and myopathies, but also in case of hypothyroidism. Another important isoenzyme, that is alkaline phosphatase. Now kinases, as I told you, they add phosphate into the substrate, and phosphatases, they remove the phosphate from the substrate. Okay, so alkaline phosphatase, if you go in the previous slides, mainly present in many tissues, but its higher concentration is being found in bone and liver or biliary tract. So there are various isoenzyme forms of alkaline phosphatase exist. Alpha 1 alkaline phosphatase is mainly present in the epithelial cells of the biliary canaliculi. And alpha 2 are of two types: heat labile and heat stable alkaline phosphatase. So heat stable alkaline phosphatase, heat labile alkaline phosphatase, they are mainly present in the liver cells. Then we have another form of alkaline phosphatase which is called pre-beta alkaline phosphatase, which is mainly present in the bones. Gamma alkaline phosphatase present in the intestinal cell, and leukocyte alkaline phosphatase. A very important point you must remember: leukocyte alkaline phosphatase is when its concentration is decreased, it means the patient is suffering from CML. CML means chronic myeloid leukemia, and if its concentration is increased, then one can suspect lymphomas. So now here we will discuss the clinical significance of raised level of alkaline phosphatases. As we have seen in the previous slide, that the alkaline type alpha 1 alkaline phosphatase present in the hepatobiliary canaliculi, and alpha 2 are of two type: heat labile and heat stable, which are present in the liver cells. And then we have the pre-beta, which is present in the bones. So mainly the disorders of the bone and the liver are suspected when we have the high levels of alkaline phosphatase in the blood. So hepatobiliary disease, liver carcinoma, or hepatic metastasis. Now hepatic metastasis actually is the involvement of liver after the cancer has been spread from some primary origin to the liver, like the breast carcinoma. Patients who are suffering from breast carcinoma, when that cancer spreads in the body, it may affect the liver. So hepatic metastasis means it is not the primary side, it is secondary to some cancers in the body. Paget disease is a disorder related to the bone. Bone cancer and healing of bone fractures, they all are being indicated by the high levels of the alkaline phosphatase. Now, if we have a blood sample and we don't have a history and the patient, and we just wanted to know whether this rise in the alkaline phosphatase is because of the liver or it is because of the bones, then we will go for estimation of another enzyme that is called gamma glutamyl transferase, gamma GT in short. If levels of the gamma GT is increased along with the increase in the alkaline phosphatase, then it is clear that the patient is suffering from either obstructive jaundice or liver cancers or secondaries in the liver. But if the gamma GT is normal and only alkaline phosphatase is increased, then we will suspect bony disorders like Paget disease, bone cancer, or we may suspect then the healing of the bone fracture is taking place. Beside this, the disorders of the vitamin D deficiency in children and adults, that is called as rickets and osteomalacia, hyperparathyroidism, and cancers of ovary and uterus, they are also being manifested or rather being indicated by the high levels of the alkaline phosphatase. Now, if you recall, while we were discussing the definition of isoenzyme, that isoenzymes are characterized on the basis of their physicochemical properties, their mobility on the electrophoretic field, their kinetic properties are different, and then that immunologically they react with a different type of antibodies. So this slide is showing you the various characteristics of different isoenzymes. Like we have seen that lactate dehydrogenase, if you recall, there are 5 different isoenzyme forms of lactate dehydrogenase, from lactate dehydrogenase 1 to lactodehydrogenase 5, and we have seen their movement. On the basis of their movement, they are being labeled as 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then as far as the heat stability is concerned, I just discussed that the alkaline phosphatase, which is present in the hepatocytes, is of two types. One is heat labile and one is heat stable. So alkaline phosphatase isoenzymes, either they are heat labile or they are heat stables. As far as the enzyme inhibitors are concerned, inhibitors can inhibit only one isoenzyme form of an enzyme. It cannot inhibit, like if there is an inhibitor, it either inhibit the CK1, 2 or 3, but it cannot inhibit all CK1, 2 and 3. So it just inhibitors can inhibit only one isoenzyme form of an enzyme, like in acid phosphatase. Then as far as the Km is concerned, what is Km? Km is the Michaelis constant, and it is the substrate concentration at half of the maximum velocity. And we know that Km indicate the affinity of the enzyme for its substrate. And we have just seen that hexokinase and glucokinase, they both add substrate phosphate into the substrate. Glucokinase has high Km, whereas the hexokinase has low Km. When the high Km means the enzyme has low affinity or low love for substrate, and when the Km is low, it means it has a high affinity. So it means hexokinase, since it has a low Km, it has a high affinity, so it will act on substrate even when the substrate is present in lower concentration. So glucokinase and hexokinase is an example of the isoenzyme form which have different Km values. Then as far as the cofactors are concerned, isocitrate dehydrogenase. Isocitrate dehydrogenase is an enzyme which is simultaneously present in the mitochondria as well as in the cytosol. This isocitrate dehydrogenase, when it is functional in the mitochondria, its coenzyme is NAD. But when it works in the cytosolic side, then it requires NADP. So if you recall nicotinic acid is a vitamin B3, and it has two coenzyme form. One is NAD and another is NADP. This coenzyme, it has two coenzyme form because NAD is a coenzyme which is required for catabolic processes, and NADP is a coenzyme form of the nicotinic acid which is required for biosynthetic processes. Then we have that when we were discussing the definition of isoenzyme, we said they have present in different tissues in different proportions. So as if you recall, you have seen the slide that LDH1 is present in the heart, whereas LDH5 is present mainly in the muscle. So the tissue location is different of the same isoenzyme. And for creatine kinase, as far as antibodies are concerned, each isoenzyme can be bound only by an specific antibody. We just discussed two type of categories of the enzyme which are present in the plasma. One is the functional plasma enzyme, which are normally present in the plasma and which has a substrate present in the blood, and the non-functional enzymes. Non-functional plasma enzyme and which are present in lower concentration normally in the blood, and when their concentration is increased in the blood, it means there is some damage or destruction or disease has affected certain tissues or cells. So this slide is presenting you the difference between the two. You can see when there is a normal cell turnover, even when there is a apoptosis, which is a normal cell turnover pattern, or individual cell when it undergo destruction, the intracellular enzymes, they are being leaked into the plasma, and their concentration is very low because only the old cells, they undergo destruction. But if when there is an extensive tissue damage like in hepatitis, or there is a muscle trauma, or there is an injury to the muscles, what will happen? There will be destruction of the cell. Massive large number of cells are being destroyed, and the intracellular enzyme, because of the destruction of the cell, will leak into the plasma. So you can see the difference when there is a normal cell turnover and what happens when there is a cell necrosis as a result of disease or trauma. Now, what could be the possible mechanism of increased concentration of non-functional enzyme in the blood? Definitely, it is a cell death. Now, cell death can be because of the defect in the cellular membrane. When as a result of free oxygen radicals, they may cause damage to the unsaturated fatty acids which is present in the lipid bilayer of the cell plasma membrane. So either there is a defect in the cell membrane, this will also result in the release of the intracellular enzyme into the plasma, or there is a release of the cytoplasmic enzymes initially, or the third mechanism is like an infarction, in myocardial infarction, that the particular cell or specific area, they are being deprived of its blood supply. They are not getting their oxygen supply. They are not getting their nutrient supplied like glucose. So cell undergo necrosis, and then as a result of that, the enzyme is leaked into the plasma. It has been claimed that the patient of the myocardial infarction, he feels chest pain. So some believes that this chest pain is the result of the release of intracellular enzyme into the plasma. As in the previous slide, we were discussing the probable mechanism of this elevation of non-functional plasma enzymes. So there are more justifications are here, that if the number of injured cell is increased, then definitely the non-functional plasma enzyme level will be increased in the circulation. Another possible reason is that the gradient of the cell and the plasma is disturbed, or the rate of enzyme entry in the plasma is increased, is at a higher rate, or it is possible that the rate of clearance of enzyme from the plasma is delayed. So rate of entry, if there's a increased rate of entry and there is a delayed clearance from the plasma, they all may lead to high levels of enzyme, non-functional plasma enzyme in the circulation. The estimation of serum enzymes in clinical practice. Now remember, when a patient comes to the doctor, he tells the history about his or her illness. Then the doctor do the physical examination, and he may find some findings which are called as signs. So on the basis of the history and sign and symptoms are told by the patient and signs are being detected by the physician. So on the basis of sign and symptoms, the physician go to a provisional diagnosis. Now, to reach a confirmed diagnosis, some laboratory investigations in certain cases is required. So the estimation of enzymes in clinical practices helps in the confirmed diagnosis of the disease. So number one, the significance of these enzymes in clinical practices, they help in the diagnosis, as we have seen that in case of myocardial infarction, CKMB is increased, or in case of alkaline this obstructive jaundice, alkaline phosphatase is increased, or they help in differential diagnosis. I have already been giving you the example of differential diagnosis, that if the alkaline phosphatase is increased and we don't know, we don't have the patient, we don't have the history, and we don't know whether it is because of the bone or it is because of the liver, then we go for the gamma GT, and gamma GT differentiates that this is either disorder is related to the liver or the bone. Then in prognosis, when we say prognosis, it means we just wanted to know that once the diagnosis has been established, the physician has started the treatment, patient is taking treatment, whether the patient is getting any benefit of that treatment or not, we go for serial estimations of certain enzymes, in especially in cancerous disorders, or in case of if you recall, Dr. Jamil must have been told you while going through the liver function test, that ALT, uh, alanine aminotransferase enzyme, is the first enzyme which is increased in the serum when there is certain damage to the liver. And then as the patient improves, is recovering from the illness, the levels of alanine aminotransferase or ALT decreases. So they have a role. Serial estimations of enzymes help the doctor or the physician to define or ascertain that whether the patient is getting any benefit from the treatment or not, or he or she is recovering or not. And it also helps us in the early detection of the disease. So these are the advantages of estimation of serum enzymes.